Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring 2019. I'm Atlas, this is Pop Smithy, and we have potentially just one more game to go until the end of the night. DWG Gaming looked very convincing from about 30 minutes onwards in game number 1, and then it just wasn't close.
And we were kind of surprised, Atlas, because there's so much to play for GenG.
Yeah.
In this series. If they win the series, they would be out of relegation contention. They lose 2-0, that's of course the most likely they'll slip into it. They will be making a substitution for game number 2. Roach will come in. He's been out of the limelight for a while. CuVee been trying to play the up-to-date new champions, but he got creamed, so they're going to go with Roach in game number 2 against Nuguri.
Yep, and so GenG, every game matters here. They can steal one away here in game number 2 and then still ultimately lose the series. That is still fantastic news for this squad because game score is going to be very important between KT Rolster, FLICKR, and GenG.
Now, do you have to ban Rise first round against the team of DWG Gaming when they're on blue? Because I think they first pick it and just flex it and force you to hold picks for longer than you're comfortable with. That means a lot of stuff could be open. Nuguri is just too good at Rise. Unbelievable how good he is on this champion. Silas going to be the first ban. Turns out he's undefeated on that one.
Yep, he's been banned in 4 games so far here today, and that is 100% for you guys playing at home.
I mean, he's pretty overpowered, but also DWG Gaming have shown they win with the picks, so that's kind of the tricky one. And now DWG Gaming are trying to minimize some of the late-round counter picks for GenG, who are undefeated lane. How many top lane champions will GenG ban? I know you think ShowMaker is going to potentially play the Silas, but we all know it would have been Nuguri.
And also DWG, if they could basically throw away a ban here, something like a Galio, something like that, force something like a Rise ban, and then Vladimir is a free pick.
I know. There's so many headaches when Nuguri is on form, and they're actually making it work with Canyon. That's the surprising thing.
Yeah.
They're not going for any experience. In this lineup, BeryL is the elder statesman of this roster.
Oh my goodness.
They had to ban it, though. That's the problem.
Exactly.
At least if you see Vlad, you know it's a tough one.
Rock and a hard place is where GenG are at this stage of the game. So DAMWON, they can lock away the Vladimir. Certainly a lot of other picks. Kalista comes to mind, and that is what's going to be snapped up here from Nuclear.
So it's 3 top lane bans so far. It'll be 2 more if they don't take top lane in this round. That is what happens when Nuguri's in the lineup. He gets all the limelight. He doesn't get camped as much as you might expect in game number 1. I imagine Peanut is going to definitely enact a tent, whatever the matchup this time. And GenG, they're going to find the GenG duo, the safest possible duo lane in Tahm Kench Ezreal.
Yep, Tahm Ezreal is going to come in, denies the Tahm Kench away from BeryL that he played in game number 1, I guess, but it does give over. DWG Gaming, one of the reasons why BeryL was theoretically picked up, which was the Galio, they're not even thinking they're going to take it, as the denial of the True Shot Barrage is going Oh! The Kale has been locked in here from DWG Gaming. The first reworked Kale that we've had so far in the LCK.
And it's going top lane, you have to believe. The
my
ultimate
God.
late game bomb from the ultimate late game bomb player. This guy is prodigiously talented. Champion taking over solo queue finally in the LCK. And will it be an Akali matchup, as there's been a lot of practice from Roach and solo queue on that pick?
Well, it's not going to be. Fly wants to get himself a pick that he's comfortable on and did make it to 30 minutes pretty unscathed. On the Morgana, they now have the opportunity of banning away something like the Corki if they are afraid of that one yet again. Their bans last time around were LeBlanc Talia, so we'll see whether they do just go back to that particular option. But this is so exciting. The Kale being picked up by Nuguri. It's going to be Roach into him this time around, and we know that Kale doesn't fare super great in the first 5 levels.
Not a lot of Kale in the match history from Nuguri in recent memory. He hasn't shown it on his main. Admittedly, hasn't been playing on his main. So Nuguri almost certainly on an alternate account there. Does feel like a champion ShowMaker can play as well. Wait. Imagine Katarina with the Kale alternate. I know, right? On the blue side.
You guys didn't see at home. We need caster camps for the pick man because
if we got
that was a spicy idea.
If we get a Katarina here, I might need some time to adjust myself.
I might need that too.
ShowMaker, a one-trick Katarina player. That's why his transition to pro play was something that some people weren't 100% assured of, because he came.
Yeah, it was like why
from that
Lahens
background.
was full of a few question marks with being an Elise singed main who's a support player.
He still hasn't played one. Wait, I mean, they're guaranteed first. Wouldn't it be nice to see the Singe game finally?
That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Sword and support. I'm sure you can play silent support.
Yeah. He basically is a support. He's just in the top lane.
Well, GenG need to make sense of this madness. You got to pick a lane. They picked mid lane already, and they're just going to go with jungle. So they want to get full information. If I see Katarina here. Oh, man.
We need it. We need it so bad.
This is the time, DAMWON. You're
And
1-0 up.
You can come. Oh, okay, this is fine. I mean,
Okay.
this is a decent option here. Is BeryL? What is he
Decent.
going to lock away for Canyon?
Gragas.
The Gragas is there. Oh, it's about as good as the Katarina pick.
I know, it's not quite, but it's close.
Oh, yeah, feels good. Feels good.
You know what this comp is? This comp is YouTube highlight.
Oh, damn right it is. This is we want to be on the Penta. That's what this comp is.
We are styling on the side of DWG Gaming, but wait, let's wait till 20 seconds. I guess it could be Nuguri on the Yasuo, but our first instinct is Kayle top lane from Nuguri. First time in the LCK. We're gonna wait though, 20 seconds when the swapping will
Oh,
end.
they're doing some fancy stuff here.
Now remember
35 seconds to
Morgana,
go.
I believe Kale's sister, is that how it works?
Yes.
Doesn't apply that much pressure except pushing, so
Yeah, it does
you
give
could
you a bit
farm
of
it
a
out.
free lane.
But would you go this bold? We'll find out soon. I think it's Kayle top, and I'm going to be right this time.
You are going to be right this time. That was DAMWON playing with their hearts just a little bit.
Man, there's a lot of knockups, and a Yasuo who, when is in the air and gets turned on, has an AoE damage, and invulnerability.
Yeah, and Kayle is the only champion on the Rift that doesn't have a knockup, or doesn't have potentially multiple knockups. That's just insane. This is a really, really fun composition coming out from DWG Gaming.
And you know what? By level 18, she's the only champion on the Rift because everyone else is dead.
Yeah, it actually doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just, in fact, it's going to feel like game number 1, where Nuguri was an entire team by himself.
I waited 3 games for the new stuff, and this is the new stuff that really tickles me big.
Yep, exactly. So we talk about 1v9 all the time. Last game was 9v5, and we'll see whether it's going to happen once again. If we get to a level 18 on Nuguri, it's likely that's what we're going to have. It's going to be really exciting.
Nuguri was playing single player in our first game. Now he's playing the champion that really only plays single player until the late game. So let's see how it goes. Game 2, GenG desperate for a win to avoid relegation.
Yep, let's see what's going to happen here as we get onto the Rift. Game 2. The GenG faithful in full voice. I don't know whether you heard the random guy from the middle of the crowd. He was definitely very vocal.
Very important question. Do you have a strong opinion on Kayle skins? Because she's got a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, I did before the rework.
What was your pre-rework choice?
My pre-rework choice was Viridian Kayle.
I was actually a unmasked Kayle.
Ah, damn, look at us both being hipsters.
I was a big Kayle aficionado years and years ago. I really like Kayle's ultimate, and I actually really like what they did to her ultimate, because I was always a big believer of using it to mitigate damage rather than self-ulting with 6 items and just whacking everyone away with my auto attack. I find that really boring. So now that it disarms you, it is basically only for allies and for initiators, and Yasuo in this game, for example.
Exactly.
If it's not on Yasuo, they done messed up in a team fight. So I'm happy with the direction they took. Now, the champion has a lot of interesting mechanics, and I believe is pretty overpowered, especially in solo queue. In competitive play, we're going to see probably what we see almost always from Korean Kayle players. Now, Q-Max Kayle going Trinity Force is the Korean choice, and not an AP build to be expected here. The standard build is Trinity Force into Rapid Fire Cannon into i.e. You're trying to be Corki in many ways. With the build path, you go Kleptomancy, hoping you get, gold or an extra level, whatever you can take. And yes, your lane presence is pretty minimal, but you max Q to try to at least trim the wave and not just lose your turn.
Yeah, and you get a little bit of extra movement speed, and the buffs to Kayle, or what read like nerfs, but are actually buffs, is that a W doesn't lock you out of being able to do anything.
Kind of like the ultimate locks you out from doing anything,
Yeah.
right? So previously, there was a 1-second lockout on W, kind of like a cast time where you were disarmed, and the E also had a 0.25-second cast time. The fact that those were removed, it doesn't matter that your attacks are a little bit slower and your AD is a little bit lower. You actually overall just do more damage because you attack more. And that extra auto you're getting in, sometimes 2. Rage Bait effect after time goes on means that champion in general was powered up. So it did read like a nerf, but from testing you could see it was a buff. Expecting this to be QEW in terms of the max orders. And yes, a lot of the power is back-ended, but for now, it is going to be just pushing in the wave, having a bit of wave control, and waiting for the better times that always come in late for Kale.
Well, at the moment, he's just relentlessly shoving, and Roach is copping a lot of abuse here in this lane.
You know who retired a little bit too early?
Who's that?
Wouldn't KO be the best RN champion?
He would. Sorry, she would.
Yes.
As our Roach is going to take a fair bit of damage.
He doesn't
also
give any
gives a
mundos
lot.
about being ganked in this lane.
No.
And Nuguri never does, so that's the part that you can appreciate is like means like. He just wants to play for his lane, and yes, did not draft for it, but is definitely going to play like.
Yeah. Corrupting Potion charges are running low here, as he has taken the Inspiration Tree, of course, so he does have the Time Warp Tonic.
And you know his second point is Q, like we mentioned. So, again, about trimming minion waves. If you go Emax, it's the missing health that goes up, and there's not going to be a lot of missing health if you're Kale in laning phase. Q gives you some flexible pushing, trading. That's why you go the Q, because otherwise your lane impact is pretty much void. It's basically a Nasus.
Yeah. Which, for those playing at home, that's bad news.
Well,
Ruler and BeryL going to have a decent time here in this lane, but Ruler and Life have played this particular combo of champions. Life maybe not so much, but Ruler definitely, back in Core JJ in the past. They're very, very comfortable on the Ezreal Tahm Kench.
the blue side blind pick Kale is just so spicy.
It's the most Nuguri thing to do. I don't think you could do anything more Nuguri.
I'm not sure if the tail end of Vision caught Canyon coming over. I'm going to go with
the pinks are in the wrong brush. So I don't think they actually saw him as Nuguri. He's actually going to bait this one by the looks of things. The Predator has been popped. There's the flash in BeryL. That's going to be the first blood. Now Peanut can't catch up to Nuguri without sacrificing himself.
Yeah, it turns out Predator was just too reliable. There was no escape path
and the
for
Celestial Blessing on top of it. That's a real fast Fat Man.
True, especially in the early game, and even at 1.1, the movement speed is going to be relevant. Well, this is spicy.
ShowMaker's smashing so far.
Now, the problem with Yasuo versus Morg is you want to say range versus melee. Not going to talk about this play too much because at the end of the day, Nuguri ends up baiting too much. It was really nicely baited, and then just Predator. There's no way to outplay this, right? There's no way to go there. But the reason the mid lane's gone this way is the very frustrating thing about Morg versus Yasuo. And we talked about this in other Yasuo lanes, is that Yasuo is so damn swift and able to jump through minion waves is that you can't actually keep the damn minions in the puddle.
That's true.
The puddle doesn't actually clear the minions because they get pushed in and out, and the lane state of where the minions are changes so much when Yasuo is involved that you actually just end up with lots of third health minions that die to the turret instead of your order. So it's the frustrating part of Yasuo surfing on minions that's actually forcing Fly to miss a lot of CS.
Well, Nuguri is going to confirm your belief in the Korean Kales. We've seen so many different builds in solo queue and around the world. It was the first Kale that I saw was in fact Kuro from over in the LPL. He had an awful one. He was AP Kale for him.
He was the first major region Kale.
Yeah.
There was some Kale, I believe, in Superliga maybe. I believe maybe in TCL
North American
as well.
Academy as well. Had a
there was 2
bit.
games in Academy, you're right. I think it was 1-1 there. It's a champion that, again, gets to a really good place, but the results haven't been as spicy as you might imagine. Again, we should mention Zatai played it in that lost game with the Vayne synergy, right? We talked about the Vayne Kale and going ultra late game. He also went the Korean build, and it flattered to deceive in teamfights. So I'm going to be very interested to see what teamfights look like. It is Nuguri. All right. ShowMaker in the mid lane.
Yeah, ultimate is in, but ShowMaker's going to flash to get himself out of the way of the Soul Shackles. He broke the cuffs. Did the Yasuo.
Sheen Rush is before level 11. I press E. It's a ranged auto attack that does damage and might klepto proc. So it's the burst trades there. To have laning impact.
Nice approach. Does a lot of damage there to Canyon.
Press E, Kale.
Did manage to get a couple of those little Kruggies though.
Again, Sheen gives mana, which you are very mana hungry. It's actually 10 mana a level when you're maxing Q. And you want to trade with that and trim waves with it as much as possible when you can't just build up your passive onto the minions. And also a klepto proc with the E as well because it's an ability. So because of that, just trying to thrift shop as much as possible, taking a bit of damage, but actually keeping a small CS lead. handful. You could say it's one CS at this point, but going even as Kale, we all know where that goes. The game goes on.
Going even as Kale with Kleptomancy as well is not going even. That's just being ahead.
Sure.
I think is basically how that translates. Roach has decided to go with the Electrocute build. This is a build that does give you a bit more sustain early. Death's Dance, of course, does help you there. He's gone for the Kindle Gem. As item number 1, couldn't actually afford the hammer. This is what you were talking about, a bit of the frustration there with keeping the puddle in the right spot.
Especially early levels, really annoying, because Morgana always had backline clearing at level 5, just 3 points in tormented soil, until the minion wave moves, and then you just miss out on some, like we mentioned, the Yasuo had relative impunity to push up, so this will eventually equal out, but you're taking a CS lead in the Yasuo lane at any point, the Kale's doing well as well. And then if Kalista hits her 2 items running, maybe it doesn't matter if Kale's not level 16. Level 11 Kale, and then either Yasuo getting a wombo off or Kalista doing the helping. It's pretty hard to deny the knockups for this Yasuo synergy. They've got so damn many.
Yeah. I feel like it's almost like the Kale is a bait. I feel like Nuguri is going to be so scary when it comes to split pushing as well as this game goes on, that you have a 4 that's going to be able to keep everyone locked down for so long. The amount of time this Kalista can just bounce around doing what she wants if GenG ever stack themselves up, just crazy. As the last time we saw Kale was a while ago.
So this was a long time ago, you'll see. It was Samsung Blue Acorn. Now, of course, Kingzone Dragon X's drafting coach Acorn, who was on that Kale, and actually we'll see the last time that Kale was playing the support role. This was when Wraith never got to play at all in the support role. Poor JJ had overtaken, so he played 2 games. And honestly, he was basically trolling. He played 1 game of Lux and 1 game of Kale way out of meta. Wraith was always a support Kale aficionado. But Samsung Blue, top lane Kale was the last time that was played. Now that was Kale in lane swaps, where Acorn was the god of lane swaps and really got nothing going in terms of jungle attention, but made it work. They were such a smart lane swap team with Samsung Blue. So a couple of bars from the past. Thank you very much to the stat mongers.
Yeah, figuring it all out. It's a long time ago. 5 years, man.
I was watching then. I know some of our chat were and weren't. We're not excluding anyone. Those were fun times, but this is new Kale. It all starts anew today. This is the debut of Kale on the LCK, and right now, things go into plan.
Well, right now, Peanut is looking for ShowMaker, but Canyon, perfect positioning. There's the boot, there's all the damage. The knockup comes in, the Void Rush. Oh, but the stasis comes in, and Canyon's gonna stay alive for so long. That barrel doing a lot of damage, and Nuguri gets hand-delivered. A kill, meanwhile, bottom side of the map. Life not gonna get stunned, but has to use his flash, and True Shot Barrage doesn't, oh, it does find Canyon, but doesn't find a kill. DWG Gaming getting all the turret plates, and Nuguri, every kill, every assist, every minion is just so meaningful for this Kale in the early stages.
And I don't think you need to shout about Atlas. The creeping dread is reaching a fever's pitch on the side of GenG. Peanut will be so unhappy because remember, you go untargetable for that second while you're charging up that Rek'Sai ultimate. Still died because the stasis and the damage came through. Let's see which came through first, because that actually ended up being so close, but no cigar once again for Peanut. Canyon, the young man, was a smite in game number 1. It's getting away in game number 2, and this game is quickly escalating from the side of DWG Gaming.
Yeah, it's in a handbasket, most definitely. Trinity Force will be in, and let's have a look at this once again. Looked like they had caught ShowMaker out. The flash was even invested.
Let's watch the replay to understand this play. Watch the timing here. They try to all in, and yes, it's ult stasis, which gets the knock up at the perfect time, and Canyon doesn't die. Wits around him, as we know, and Nuguri picking up kills.
Fade away from ShowMaker as well.
What you like to see.
Bad meet worse.
And now Fly, you know, the Morgana's looking like a champion that's never going to get going, because the Morgana, the soul of it is pushing. That pushing hasn't worked in terms of getting a meaningful CS lead. And then empowering an ally. Could you present the ally that's going to benefit in this game? Because right now it looks like all the synergies in the world on DAMWON and 1 black shield ain't going to be enough.
There were no chickens. Peanut got no chickens. Runic Echo's completed. I mean, Peanut does have the Warrior enchant, but yeah, that's it's real bad. Nuguri.
Wait, Actually got the hover there. That's weird. Now, did he... So he's level 11 because he got the skill point.
Exactly.
And that actually gives him enough abilities, even though he doesn't have second point his ult. I didn't know that.
BeryL comes in. Nuguri's going to go down to the passive. This is the one I prepared earlier situation if Canyon ever wants to come back. And turret plates being taken solo now from this Kale, who is theoretically level 11, but level 10.
But that's so interesting. A skill point doesn't make you level 11, but it gives you 11 points of skills. That's enough to actually become permanently ranged. That's an interaction I hadn't seen explained before, but one that actually worked. And another reason, we mentioned it with the Klepto and the skill point, but that murder synergy there, oh boy. Sometimes you high roll. They didn't need that one, Atlas.
Nope.
That's getting 3 Infernals if you're SKT.
Yeah.
And yeah. Now he's 1,300 gold.
And they're going to be able to have 2 Mountain Drakes in theory here as well if they keep up this level of control around the map.
That's all the turret.
Yeah. All of the turret.
That's the bad lane.
The turret. And Shelly. She's 30 seconds, okay, so Shelly's not going to be able to actually get any turret plates. That's a good news story. But there were 7 turret plates that went down, 5 of them in the lane with the Kale. Kale got a kill. Is this game over?
You know, I'm not willing to go that far, but the built-in synergies, the fact that the Morgana, to me, has no obvious role unless Aatrox or Rek'Sai had 5-6 kills. They're even going to load this in. I think it's going to be too slow for turret plates, though.
Nope, it's not going to be able to pick up too many plates, and Shelly's going to try and get here in time. But, distracted by the cute little minion. Turret plates fall down. Turret not going to get any extra money. DAMWON knew that. They got themselves out of the way. They just wanted to get as much damage here as they possibly could. Nuguri knows that Roach is making rotation around, and he's still not going to play up too aggressively here. He's got such a gigantic lead. Why throw it away now? Close to 2,000 gold. In the lead as the Kale.
And the problem I find for GenG is so easy to execute from DWG Gaming. If you get any resistance at any moment, Cast goes in, Braum goes in with the Fate's Call, it'll work out. And definitely the ultimate here, the Divine Reckoning, will be able to get them over the line. Turret plates, well, there's 5 in the top lane and Kale's lane. It is the Kale build we spoke about, so Rapid Fire Cannon will be the second completion here. Critical Strike is approaching 100%. The critical time is being rewound earlier and earlier for the side of DWG Gaming. It's not level 16 yet, but I endeavor that telling GenG that might not get you too much happiness.
No, Nuguri's even able to clear out jungle camps before he heads up and gets all of the minions apart from the cannon. That was a bit sad.
So we do still have some points to talk about. It's Nuguri's 2,000 gold.
Yeah, he is.
We did talk about our old favorite Kale skins. My new favorite Kale skin is actually the Pentakill one, or whatever the... I think it's Pentakill.
Is there a Pentakill Kale skin?
The one where it has a lot of rock. There is one of those. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like the Riot Kale, especially after the update to the Riot Kale, they added a lot more Weewar in there, so at least the sounds are in. I always went to the what was it, Ether Kale, which is the legendary one. I really loved that before the rework, but it's not super great.
You do see what is great. We saw it in the mid lane where they finally took the turret. Is Windwall against Ezreal Morgana is going to get a whole lot of value as the Wombo is.
And remember, this is Windwall Unbreakable. This is the double wall comp. Ain't nothing getting past it. And so far,
this is our favorite new comp, and we had to go through 3 boring games for this, Atlas. We must savor it.
Hey man, I thought the last game wasn't too... I mean, it was most of it was boring, but the end was great. As this could actually be a fight here, as BeryL does have Unbreakable available to try and deny some of this damage to Mountain Drake. He's going to get taken, but can DWG actually find a fight after this? Ultimate flies forward, misses life completely. True Shot Barrage gets him behind the Unbreakable, and Canyon is going to immediately go down for free. Nuguri does have the ultimate, uses it on himself, which is exactly what you don't want to do, and will just be taken out. Peanut grabs that kill. Things falling apart here for DWG. A bit of overexcitement.
DWG Gaming had so many answers and literally misused all of them. It's like they had the answer key, but the questions were off by 1 and they wrote the wrong answer for 3 questions. Watch the replay here, how they played this. Remember what they have. Divine Reckoning, they have both walls, and they get nothing from 2 walls, Atlas, and then Kale just face checks at the same time because she's going to be surprised at how fast her allies die. That could not have been worse from DWG Gaming.
Absolutely not. This might actually mean a turret for GenG on the bottom side as well, and we know that GenG, if they're handed a victory like, a win like this in a team fight, They are able to transition more often than not. Teleport ward is in. That's what our observers are showing us right now. And GenG, they smell a rat. They are going to be able to take this ward down. But DAMWON utilize that moment in order to lock down that minion wave and save their turret for at least another wave's time.
And that's the thing, is that DWG should not be rushed by this. We once again want to return to it. This is without Punch or Flame. The older voices on the team playing, they need to remember they've got synergies everywhere. They don't have to overinvest before IE is done on either Kayle or Yasuo, and before second item is done onto Nuclear.
Yeah, so 3-item spike is what we're waiting for. For Nuguri, this is still a big spike in damage.
And remember, level 15, because the Elixir skill counts as a level, is all Nuguri needs, so we're 3 levels away from raid boss territory.
Exactly. And it's a ticking time bomb. It's so scary. It's like we're in competitive play and there's a Nasus, but it's called Kayle now.
But it's way better than a Nasus,
I know.
Nasus can at least get kited. In fact, late game Nasus, in the late game, is actually not that good because you get kited, because you don't get a lot of value. Reliability here is higher. Now, this was a play we missed in the replay.
Back timing.
Very nice. Deep Abyssal Voyage. I'm actually not clear if they picked up a kill or not. The answer is they did not.
No, they got a flash. That's certainly good. And now it's going to be the bottom lane moving mid. ShowMaker, he's set up shop on this bottom side. It's a longer lane for Fly to deal with. And you can see that puddle. I mean, it does manage to take down the siege minion. But as you can see, it's not exactly ideal placement if the minions are moved around by this Yasuo.
So, DWG Gaming were their own downfall in the previous skirmish. It wasn't a game-losing play. They're still ahead in gold. They got double Mountain Drake. The Baron buff is looking very mortal in this game, with 2 walls and IEs everywhere. However, they don't have all their items together yet, and they could be rushed into a bad decision. So let's see if GenG can at least force them into a predicament where they might get the maximum out of their comp.
Well, True Shot Barrage is somehow hitting through this Braum almost every time. It's BeryL, no flash, remember. Fate's Call has to be used. That's going to save it.
All right, you've got 1 tool away from DWG Gaming at a point where DWG should be stronger. That's a small lead to GenG. They're going to walk up here to DWG Gaming. Walk up too far.
Oh my goodness, the Super Soaker. A lot of value here as ShowMaker's trying to make his way in, and ShowMaker is on the perfect champion for his namesake, because every time he walks up, you have to put so much more respect into a random explosive cask flying out, right? Because then, immediately, everyone gets to be held in the air and destroyed by that last breath.
But less respect than you might expect, because the ward coverage from GenG spotted him on the flank. Good flank vision there. We talk about Baron damage. How about 20 minutes?
All right.
They take this real fast, and Roach is well aware of it.
Yep, they do manage to actually get a cute little ward into the pit there with the scrying orb. That was a cute play, though. This is not. This is very dead Nicola.
This is DWG Gaming tripping over when, honestly, they should not be Atlas.
What is it with Callistas and just randomly getting caught out in the mid-game?
What's it with getting a huge lead on a scaling comp and then just trying to do everything at the same time? Have your lunch, eat it too, Yelp review it, get some lunch with your mates. Yep. It's too much, DWG Gaming. They're showing that even though they look oh so graceful in the early game, they can still stack it if they continue to make 2 greedy decisions.
Well, Canyon going to be able to clear out this ward, wants to get value out of the sweeper, so hops over the wall, gets rid of that one. ShowMaker's now in the side lane. 1-3-1, certainly something that DWG can play with this composition as well, but they need to tidy this up. 20 seconds, Cloud Drake is going to be on the board. A couple of mountains, probably more than what they need, as level 14 has been hit. Nuguri looking to level 15, which will theoretically be level 16, which will mean this Spellblade is going to be smacking people's faces.
Yep. Doesn't need any further introduction after that. Level 16 is another big power jump. Again, I was not impressed with Zatai's teamfight damage when he hit level 16 going the same build in that RNG versus Sign of Dragon game, but I think that was more about how the fights were fought than necessarily Kayle being anything other than a raid boss. The game goes on. He's trying to buy a straight IE, it feels like. He's sitting on 2,500 gold because Nuguri doesn't move.
No, and look, he's also got the items that he needs to kill minion waves instantly, so that's all Nuguri needs, because his game is PvE.
He's so greedy. Yeah. If I'm a coach, I'm mortified, but also transfixed.
Yeah. It's like, I'm so impressed, but I'm also really disappointed.
You could see why Coach Kim Jung-soo, who, if people don't know, was the Invictus Gaming World Champion coach, looked at DAMWON, a team that entered Kesper Cup with 1 game where they were all 5 players were top 10 solo queue. Yep. You look at a player like Nuguri and you're just baited, right? You're like, imagine what this team could be. They're all so damn talented. That part definitely remains true, but Sometimes they mess it up.
Another Fate's Call comes in. Nuguri's hit level 16 now. I know it says 15, but he's 16. He's doing so much damage. Life almost taken out Fly. That Black Shield lasted all of a couple of seconds. Nuguri's still full health. You can see GenG, a team fighting this one beautifully. Already 2 down. World Ender has been used already. But look at these health bars. Nuguri's AoE is just disgusting. Ruler, he can't stay alive. The first kill for the KO. The second one goes over to the Yasuo as now Roach is running for the hills. And they just couldn't do any damage to him. They were trying to avoid him. That just didn't work.
And DWG Gaming were pressing their buttons willy-nilly. They didn't even get a knock-up. There was no last breath, but we're still breathless, Atlas, because guess what? They did all the heavy lifting in the early game, and KO runs up.
And
no
he was
one
sitting
runs
with
her.
3,000 gold in his back pocket.
And you know what
That's
he's
an
got now?
Infinity Edge and a Brawler's Glove.
If you're a coach, if you're Kim Jong-soo, you say, you're engaging. When Nuguri's sitting on an IE, you're using your ultimate onto the Braum. You don't even get a knock-up with the Yasuo, but because the early game was them feasting and getting an experience lead, this is how much spilling they can do and still get a full drink.
Do you know he's actually 500 gold behind Roach in this fight?
Yeah. Because he didn't spend any of the gold.
Oh man, Nuguri playing late game KO.
And you know what? We're older gents over here.
Yeah.
You know what we are now?
What?
We're the headmasters or the teachers, and Nuguri's the kid that just won't study.
Yeah.
You tell
but
him,
then he keeps performing in his
and
tests.
you tell him, but no, the next test is all you need to ace. He's still not bloody studying. He's still YOLOing it.
Oh, it's exactly what it is, and it's so frustrating. You're unteachable, Nuguri. You're unteachable, but damn, you're beautiful. And they're just going to eat this Baron alive.
50-50.
It is a 50-50. Peanut gets into the pit. Is he going to be alive for long enough? He's just booped back. He's in the Void Rush, but the ultimate... Oh, no. The damage from the True Shot Barrage isn't going to be enough. The World Ender's going to be there as Fly goes into stasis. Nuguri, Soul Shackle's going to be avoided there as he does take down the Morgana. He's just auto-attacking, but eventually does go down. It's Roach that picks it up. BeryL wants to hit him, but he can't. It's a triple kill coming in for the Aatrox. Canyon does have, I believe, a Baron buff here for DAMWON Gaming, but that was a bit of a disaster.
They just ran at Baron. It was almost a 50-50. They've got everything, Atlas. The last thing they need to do, they've got the amazing turn of the cask, and they just damage down Baron.
Yeah.
To call this game solo queue would be generous.
And Canyon had the divine intervention on top of him and went into stasis. So it actually did nothing. There was no one in there. It wasn't doing any damage. That was like an R button for free for GenG. Oh my goodness. It's the divine judgment now. Sorry guys. A little bit trapped in the past. He did a lot of damage though. 6.5k.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
And you know what? He's got more items.
He's
now.
got so many wings.
That's a lot of spinning.
Damn, that's the amount of those propellers as you'd have on one of those Avengers airships.
And you know what the irony
and probably
is?
more firepower.
And you know what the irony is?
What?
That's way more rotation than you'd expect from Nuguri.
Oh, that's your best one of the night.
Thank you.
Guaranteed.
Well, you know what the fun thing is?
What?
Do
This
we
game's
have
still
faith
going?
in the fact that DWG might lose this game?
Oh, they definitely could still lose this game. Absolutely.
I know. That actually takes a lot of losing.
Yeah. Well, Celestial Blessing is going to at least allow Nuguri's rotational power. Look at that. Look at that. He rotated. That's the first one. Nailed it. Binding's going to land. It's actually a lot of damage. Half the health bar there on Nuclear, who has to get himself back. I apologize. I mispronounce his name every single time. I swear it's
You're
an
Australian.
accent. That's my problem.
It's fine. You're Australian.
Yeah. Big issue.
Some things are uncoachable.
Yeah.
You saying Nuclear
And Nuguri rotating.
and Nuguri Canyon lineup.
Yeah.
Can they find a way to mess this up? They're
Well,
trying.
Super Soaker comes in. The Infernal Chain's going to land on a Canyon. Does go into his Zonya's Hourglass. You can see free hitting his Nuguri on the back line. Gets himself that Divine Judgment onto Canyon. Keeps him alive. The Fate's Call. We're looking for the re-engage right now. As Black Shield's fantastic from Fly. They do manage to get that cooldown though, as this is just the two teams trying to face off, but on wrong sides of the rift. And DWG picking top lane as they do have a minion wave up there.
They still have not been able to find that cask into the Divine Judgment, that ultimate from the Kale. Because of all this, they're just going to try to run into the minion wave top side. This is the last minion wave with Baron, but I think DWG Gaming are going to back off.
Yeah, 3,000 gold, almost 4,000 is going to be their lead, but it's only 1,000 gold Baron power play. Remember, they had to follow Canyon around in order to get any value. That's a lot of gold on the Kayle, but what's she going to be able to do as this game goes on?
Eventually, they have to hit a knockup for this Yasuo. Like,
yeah, and eventually, Nuguri has to have lifesteal.
Canyon missed the ward over the wall. That happened. He got the second.
Yeah, he got the second. So I didn't actually watch the first one, so to me, it was perfect. Nailed it. But they do lose the Mountain Drake. That goes over to GenG. No 3 mountains for you, DWG Gaming. That would mean that the next Baron would have been instant. 2 mountains is bad enough. 3 would have been a huge problem.
Phantom Dancer is the decision here, I guess, because she doesn't want to self-ult. Makes a lot of sense. You lose damage, of course, doing that. You don't want any other lifelines either, because your next item probably wants to be Mercurial Scimitar, something like that, I guess. All they need is the Yasuo to go in. If the Yasuo starts the fight, the wall's there, the Yasuo is being focused. Kayle starts hitting people, it should be over.
Yep.
But they haven't been able to find that. GenG are dogged in their defensive macro run, of course, as a squad. That's what they're famous for. But with all the tools DWG have, GenG should be at their whim, and yet, we're no closer to knowing who wins.
Well, at the moment, they're just going to be sieging on this inner turret. Nuguri, you can see, just having the best time ever. But the Glacial Orphan actually doing a lot of work here.
Yep.
Doesn't actually have to self-ult, but that's going to be his health bar very, very low. True Shot Barrage! Oh my god! That was way too close. I think if that was anyone else, they would have flashed, but doesn't happen. And of course, the Ezreal doesn't do quite as much damage.
His Phantom Dancer was on cooldown, and he still didn't flash.
Yeah.
Or ult. Right now he has TP, and I think it must be YOLO time. It's been too long now.
Yes, we need to YOLO. Super Soaker is going to go wide. Big move down there.
I'm pretty sure he would have done it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's not double tier Ezreal, which we expect massive damage, but he has no resistances. He has another crit cloak.
Oh yeah, he's got almost 100% crit.
What is that?
What's 95% crit? Essence Reaver for 40% CDR.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Essence Reaver for 40% CDR and 100% crit.
Okay. He's going to be doing a fair bit of damage.
And yet, I'm still not sure, Atlas.
Well, I mean, he does die very, very quickly. Has 0 lifesteal, unless he's taken Domination second, which he did, but I can't quite remember what the runes were exactly when we saw them earlier.
Now, 0 people want to enter lane against him. However, Baron is spawning, and they can make DWG Gaming come to them and potentially trip up on their execution again.
Well, the thing is, DWG Gaming, if they find GenG in a pit, it's really scary for GenG, right? Because Explosive Cask is so powerful, and Canyon can close distance very easily with the Predator. So, see how this one's going to go. Stand beside me, gets BeryL out of trouble. Nuclear trying to avoid as many of these buttons as possible.
For the viewers,
for a flank, does get Peanut out of his burrow and takes half his health bar.
For the viewers can appreciate, this is very much a watch and enjoy game rather than particularly high-level play from DWG. The early game was pretty good. They managed to get leads they shouldn't have gotten, but now
this is their squad that does well in the laning phase because it's the young mechanics crew from DWG Gaming, and they're going to jump on this Baron once again, because why the heck not? Teleport available from Nuguri and Roach.
50-50 number 2!
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Ooh,
Skill shots flying in, and BeryL once again getting punished.
Smart of them to
barrage! Oh, the heal comes out. BeryL saves himself.
They actually
uses a summon as well.
They kite away at 6,000 health. Much better than 3,000 health like last time. Nuguri not going to allow himself to be taken down. They should run it Baron again.
Yeah, Missile Voyage happened towards the bottom side of the map. Now Nuguri can teleport here, and that's a lot of control vision in that Baron pit.
Again, if you're surprised to see this no ability power Kayle build, it is what every Korean player has been practicing and scrimming. We talked about it before the game started, 100% crit. Going away from the ability power and the Nationals Tooth Rage Blade that a lot of people would have expected. This is, in fact, the bread and butter. This is not a Nuguri style choice.
And if you were watching the LPL Kayle game that happened first from Kuro, it was an uninspired Kayle pickup.
Agreed.
And didn't really do too much at all. That was that Nash's Tooth build that you're talking about.
I guess he's not got Essence Reaver yet because Nuguri has been sitting on so much gold.
2.3.
This guy never invests. He keeps it all bank.
Well, Ruler, oh, that Black Shield timing was fantastic there from Fly. Keeps Ruler alive.
There still has not been a multi-man Yasuo.
Yeah. We've barely seen a Last Breath that actually did anything.
I think there's been one all game.
Yeah, one all game. As ShowMaker does at least take down Scuttle Rivers there on the top side. Sorry, Scoop.
Now GenG are just going to try to disengage. It seems almost unfathomable they can get back in this game, but they've all been able to hit pretty stabilizing points. Their items are around where they need them to be. Yes, the enemy.
I've seen this movie before, Papa Smithy. Is okay. There's a Divine Judgment. Nuguri gets him into the World Ender very quickly. And Roach, you're going to get flashed on. Gets through the base gate. That's my boy. Roach turns it all around.
It's at the moment, because now they can also defend Baron.
Yep, keeps it alive. No flashes on the top laners, but they both have their teleports. True Shot Barrage flies through. It is going to be Kalista that grabs it with the Rend. DWG Gaming walk away with another Baron, but can GenG actually chase after them? Ruler thinks yes, but there's the flash engage. Black Shield comes forward. Can we find a cast? As that one is going to wear off. Oh no! He gets caught by the binding, and BeryL doesn't even have the ultimate button to press. Peanut goes into stasis.
Oh, he's out of position.
Yep, Canyon's going to as well. Is Nuguri out of position, or is he just a one-man team? As ShowMaker's going to take them down. Nuguri had no buttons to press and just wanders around in circles and dies.
DWG Gaming need to visit a fertility clinic. They can't knock anyone out.
I don't know what this is, BeryL. He does have the Unbreakable. That was a ridiculous line, Papa Smithy. You put me off. It's now Nuclear. He's going to go down as well. ShowMaker's tanking up turrets. And this fiesta never ends.
They're going to lose this fight again with level 18s everywhere.
Yeah, well, there's an inhibitor down on the bottom side of the map. At least Nuguri was able to do that, as ShowMaker's going to make the great escape. All right, Roach, he's got a World Ender up once again, as the knock-up's going to be avoided by the Umbral Dash, and that's going to mean that ShowMaker is dead. Roach grabs it, and that is a very staggered back to come in here from GenG.
They still didn't knock anyone up, ever!
How does this team fail to do that? I don't know.
So BeryL actually is a monster here. He interrupts Peanut from getting over the wall. That's why they get the guaranteed Baron no on the pit. So far, so good. But then it actually all falls apart. Canyon goes in, the Black Shield does the first part, and then they just get into this weird spot. They miss the knock-up on the Fate's Call. Gragas is holding onto his ult. Nuguri comes for a flank that doesn't exist because they never got a knock-up Atlas. And then it's just a comedy of errors. Yakety Sax is playing oh so loud.
Yeah, exactly. And look at the value that came out of that Glacial Augment. It was the Super Soaker. He died to a Super Soaker, Papa Smithy. Oh my goodness.
What a game this is.
Do you know what we need this game? We need a pause. I think we need a pause in order to come to terms with the silliness that's been happening. We made a Monty Python reference in in the last game, and that was The Life of Brian, the name of the Brambleback that managed to take down Seas. That was our series before this, and this is just so silly. It's too silly.
Do you know how unlikely it is that we have gone 25 to 30 minutes with no knock-up? You know, it's so silly that we have to pause. We both need a bit of pause.
Yeah, we need a bit of pause.
We need to savor them.
We need to discuss how a composition that could be very well nicknamed IVF is failing to get any sort of knock-ups at all. Ugh.
I think we've stayed on the right side of PG-13.
You threw it out there, and I just had to run with it. I'm sorry. If I'm going down with this ship with you, Papa Smithy,
there's
okay?
always the lines that you skirt, but it was so good. I had to do it.
Yeah, you had to. You had to. And look, this game warrants that sort of response as well. As I think it's Nuguri's problem. He was like, why? It's his keyboard, apparently. But I have a feeling his ability to identify what Glacial Augment does is another issue that he had in that last team fight. Oh my goodness.
Maybe we're rewinding the tape on the knockups and just trying to check to see if any of them bugged out.
Yeah, why?
Like,
why do knockups not work this game?
Would that not be the Occam's razor at this point?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like also it's a lot to do with Fly actually playing very well with his Black Shields. His Twitch reaction on ally Black Shields has been absolutely fantastic.
I mean, GenG have played out the latter half of this game, which we felt was just absolutely all the dominoes to set up. You think that an accident, not even a stiff breeze, a very average breeze would just blow them all over. But instead, between Black Shield timings and disengage,
a last breath would have killed them, Pub Smithy. Unfortunately, there's been nothing to proc the last breath. Oh, dear.
Now I needed to know what happens in a game 3.
Yeah.
My curiosity is so peaked, Atlas.
What is the composition going to be? Hecker and Urgot? Something like that?
I feel like LS at some point heard us praising Kale and saw this reality and was like, we're getting in there.
Yeah.
This cannot happen.
I hope he gets to Twitter. Hopefully he's watching. If you're out there, LS, please let us know. Essence Reaver now completed for Nuguri. Oh my goodness. Okay, game resumed. Keyboard repaired. For the Kale is Peanut looking for Nuclear.
And flanking.
Yeah, Missile Voyage going to come in. The Flash, the stand behind me, and DAMWON Gaming get out. They expend a lot in order to do it, but they do keep themselves alive. That's the last 2 flashes that they had available.
But now Kale needs to group. Nuguri never grouped in game number 1. And we're getting to the point where grouping is almost a comedy of errors for the side of DWG Gaming. And notice, yes, they have some true damage. They have a little bit of AP damage from Canyon. That's a Randuin's. We're going to get armor stacking from the Rek'Sai. Definitely not the sharpest teeth on this Rek'Sai. You mess up your engages twice more, and I think you lose if you're DWG.
Nuguri was trying to steal that one away, but it was picked up by Ruler. Ruler has a lot of lifesteal and a lot of items. As the Blade of the Ruin King, Bloodthirster, Trinity Force, Mirror Mana, and a BF Sword that I don't know what it's going to be turned into. Maybe he just builds an Infinity Edge at this point. Just to have even more money invested into his item build.
I think Merc's Scimitar is the...
Well, and what does the BF Sword go to?
Maybe just GA, I guess, would be the... I think GA or Merc's Scimitar. You look at the enemy team, and Merc's Scimitar is actually pretty useful against one of the knockups.
Essence Reaver is pretty interesting for this Ezreal as well, because he currently has 20% CDR.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could go, and it helps you with CDR capping, but the critical strike is a bit spurious, right? So that's a hard one. I'm not 100% clear on where you'll go there. I think it's just slot efficiency, because the next fight, if you lose, at any point, game's over.
Peanut might just be dead here. Not actually going to. One more auto attack would have done it. His life does get to devour. Nuguri down to about half health. True Shot Barrage does fly through, but it gets avoided by all of the DAMWON members. No wind walls, no unbreakables necessary.
Is there ever a moment where Kale sells her items and buys AP items? Because, you know, he's going to have
Is it a better late game build to have full AP?
When you start seeing enough armor items, yes.
I guess so, yeah.
So, I don't know if we're there yet, but you could definitely reset the build. Remember, it's Kleptomancy, dirty farming, 407 CS, been item capped for 6 minutes, Chaos. So, I mean, why not?
I mean, once you've gone through about 1 million elixirs, I guess you go there. May as well. Interested to see what he's going to decide to do. I think switching through a few of the items would be a good idea, like maybe sell the rapid fire cannon for Rage Blade, potentially. I don't know.
But it's 100% crit, so you understand.
Yeah, I guess you want that.
The lust for that item is that's a lot of damage.
And maybe this is just the highest damage build as well. I mean, crit builds in the late game, it's pretty synonymous with how hyper carries are supposed to be built, right?
Let's continue to watch GenG here. They've been fortunate, but also been so slippery when they needed to be. Roach, ow, that hurts.
Oh my goodness, takes the blast cone. Sentinel's going to die. Umbral Dash gets Roach to safety. The burn damage, just ridiculous.
And I feel like, you know, we've been so focused on waiting for the Wombo that we need to continue to watch GenG's steps at avoiding the Wombo, because they are also at this point going to be relevant. We're not seeing abilities go comically wide like they did in some of the previous fights. They've got GA, they've got a lot of temporary stasis and a lot of stuff going on, and yet you feel like DWG Gaming is still one execution away from just absolutely lowering GenG into their graves.
Yeah, and you can just see how much Nuguri wants to fight these guys as well, so GenG are going to have to play their very best GenG at this stage. Just try and grin and bear it. Good slow comes in as the Super Soaker is used.
I mean, they drafted Tahm Kench Ezreal first round.
Yeah.
This was certainly a very solid GenG cosplay.
Dark Binding is going to find the target.
That was Cask flashed away by Peanut. Still,
yeah,
we go wanting. We have blue blades for when a Draven can't cash in. We can't
cash in on more silliness.
About that.
Yeah, no, there absolutely isn't. But we've certainly well and truly leapfrogged that line so far this broadcast. The answer from Ruler was the GA. The more understandable choice is GenG. They're thinking about just jumping onto this.
They're gonna take Baron.
And it is spotted. DWG should be able to make it here in time. It's Canyon. avoids the true shot barrage. This
What
should
is the
be a
cost gonna be
50-50.
here?
It's at least an inhibitor, as the Aatrox is already in the world ender, remember. BeryL gets into that pit,
YOLO!
Canyon jumps on over, but it is going to be Peanut that locks it down. Nuclear, he's speed hitting on the back line. Peanut's going to go down. The Grey health is fantastic there from Live, but he is still going to fall down. My God, the damage. You can see in the picture-in-picture, Nuguri's still going off. But DAMWON Gaming, the Yasuo gets a triple kill, and this one should be over.
Fool us once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Eventually we'll get you. Here's Nuguri. They want to close the game right now.
Roach had flash, but he knew that there was nothing he could do to stay in this game. And the way it was going to work, Canyon throws out a party cask because they know this game is over. Nexus to fall. Now DAMWON Gaming have shown us that they can play all sorts of different League of Legends, but it does end ultimately in a 2-0.
The 2-0 was an eventful one, the Korean debut of Kayle. It was such an arrival, and then it was such a debate for so long, Atlas. They couldn't close the game. A lot of it was their own error in usage, but also the enemy being very slippery. By the end, though, they eventually close it out. The smiles are wide, some nervous, some in amusement. DAMWON Gaming 2-0 is inconsequential for them, but actually very consequential for GenG. They're still in a really good spot to avoid bottom 2, but their spot didn't get any better with their game score going down 2.
Yeah, you mentioned creeping Dread. Well, Dread might be creeping up past this squad if they can manage to take a game off the likes of SKT in their final match of the LCK. DWG Gaming take a fantastic bow, and I feel like taking a bow to the crowd is exactly what they need to do because they put on a show today in their match versus GenG. That was a real fun one. Often we come away from 2-0s thinking, all right, well, the team won and blah, blah, blah. But both of our matches today have been interesting in ways very different to what a 2-0 would normally imply, with not a lot of implications actually on the table.
This was such a Fiesta game. Clown Fiesta would be selling it short.
Yeah, exactly. That's an insult to Clown Fiesta.
DWG Gaming's early game was actually a very impressive one to get some deep scaling way ahead. Kayle, for example, was the threat of the solo queue 58% win rate Kayle, rather than what Kayle might represent being rotated on again and again. The closeout comes through. I'm sure bemused is the word you would say for Ruler and the cohort of GenG. They do still bow to the LCK LOL Park staff. DWG Gaming in an inconsequential game for them. They cannot finish 6th, they cannot finish 4th. They will not go down 2-0, 2-0 in their final week. They have one more match remaining. And what does this mean for their selections? Because they learned a lot and very little
at the same time. Yeah, exactly right. And I think that this is actually fantastic for DAMWON for a lot of reasons, right? Because they've got what we would theorize as their main squad, which actually involves having Flame on the top side of the map for DWG Gaming, and Punch in that jungle role often has Hoyt there instead of BeryL. So 3 parts of what we saw from DAMWON in this series was not like what we're used to seeing. So as far as giving anything up for their match in the wildcard match, which could be actually anyone against them. Oh my goodness.
Isn't it funny?
Anyone out of Sandbox and Kingston.
Isn't it funny that we learned so much about DWG and so little?
Yeah.
And like, if you're preparing for DWG that wildcard match, like, does this match mean anything or everything?
Yeah, exactly. And can we see the roster first, please?
There could be no more difference in rosters than...
And also, even if they play this roster in the wildcard match, do they play any of these champions? Because it just looked like all of them were having the best time ever. It's like, Nuguri's like, I want to play scaling, and I'm going to win the lane and just do whatever the heck I want, which is precisely what he did.
I feel like Kayle is both the best ban and the worst ban possible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And so today we saw our first Kayle ban of the year and our first Kayle pick of the year. So,
you know,
I still don't really have many answers.
Of the other champions would have received first, perhaps Hecarim, perhaps.
Yeah, Urgot, maybe in the jungle.
But
no,
it's
going to be the Kayle.
Yeah.
And, you know, she was available last patch as well. A few changes, last week. So, I don't know.
You know what?
Analyzing that, I'm going to leave to somebody else.
I think we earned a bet for John.
I think so. I'm definitely going to share one of those. We got a favorite place, so we're going to be okay. So we're going to have a look at some of the highlights, lowlights, whatever you want to call them. Whatever it was real fun.
This was a popcorn movie.
Oh,
But you know what? It feels like the first act was the must-watch one.
you were
That was
talking
the
about
one.
Wedding Crashers before.
I know, and yet
this is
game
basically
happened.
that movie.
I mean, that movie was a bit more introspective and thinking than this one.
Maybe, and saying that is exactly, you need to have seen the movie to understand how ridiculous this game
What would
must
you
be
say?
because
Who
of
is
that.
on average the most brainless action movie star? Like, who has the least thinkers?
Dang it, what's his name?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Why can't I remember his name?
Seagal, maybe?
No. I was thinking more from an Adam Sandler comedy type thing.
I'm kind of Steven Seagal-esque in this one.
Who's that Mr. Schneider? Rob Schneider. I'm going to say Rob Schneider.
I was talking action movies. Well, I don't know how many action movies Rob Schneider's in.
I don't know.
I can't really buy him as an action movie star.
He doesn't like people having their heads on. I know that.
Well, DWG Gaming didn't do it in this game.
Yeah.
I almost lost my head at all the knockups that were avoided and missed.
In this particular moment.
What would you say the percentage was on dodged and missed? I think it was...
that's too hard.
I'm 60-40 missed. Maybe
Yeah.
70-30 missed.
I'm going to go with mostly missed. I mean, that was dodged. So that was a knock-up that was dodged. So immediately, Cast a Curse smacked us in the face. Thank you, Highlight Guy. As this is a 50-50 that was won by GenG as the game was lost by GenG.
Honestly, the best analogy I've come up with just now is this game was, you know those PG-13 or G-rated cartoons where there's like all the goons with machine guns shooting at someone with no weapons but no one can hit anyone? That's what happened in this game.
And also, you got so incredibly excited about a last
nobody
breath.
got it.
He got it on one person.
But that was more than 0!
45k damage.
He did more than the entire team
He did
combined.
10k more than Ruler's Ezreal that did a really large amount of damage.
What a game.
I need
If
2
you
days
ever
off.
want to turn
I
your
need
brain
2
off,
days off
and watch some big numbers, this was the game for you.
Why is it on a school night? This game shouldn't have been played on a school night.
It's the last
Not
week
how
of the
that
season,
works.
baby. It's weird
Yeah.
and wonderful.
Well, maybe this is just the tip of the iceberg for Week 10. DPM of 1124 as the Kale.
As a top.
Oh my god, man.
I don't think I've ever seen a DPM of 1100 plus on a non-80
And he already did the most damage out of any other top laner in the LCK percentage-wise. It's going to go like up to 30% up.
And he probably doesn't even play in playoffs until second, third, fourth game of a series.
Yeah. Oh dear. That's the reality. That is a well-deserved MVP. Even though some weird things happened, he stood in the glacial augment icy path for a little bit too long in the Baron pit and was made to look a little bit silly. But otherwise, he is the lovable raccoon that does whatever the heck he wants and does it very well.
I had fun that game, Atlas.
Me
It was,
too. Me
it was
too.
a lot of game, you know?
We look, that was the most a game that we've had so far.
I'm
in
willing
the
to say it
LCK.
if you are. I'm a gamer.
I am a gamer as well, and Nuguri and the rest of DWG Gaming
Gamers.
are also gamers. And do you know what we get? We get an MVP
네, 담원 게이밍이
interview
젠지를 잡고
with
16
Nuguri
번째
himself,
올랐습니다.
just him,
오늘
because that's the only member we
모실게요.
really want to talk to.
안녕하세요,
So here's
너구리
Jason
선수.
with some translation.
네, 이 자리에서 정말 오랜만에
Thank you very
뵙고
much, guys.
또 단독
This is
MVP가
Nuguri's solo MVP interview.
네.
Nuguri, this is your first solo
일단
interview.
오늘-
How do you feel about that?
그러니까 이게 단독
Well, today-
MVP를 이렇게 받는 게 진짜 기분이 너무
Well,
좋고요.
I'm really happy
그래도
that I'm the solo
오랜만에
MVP
나와서
today.
젠지전 또 이렇게 재밌는
It has been a while since I
게임에서
played on
정말
stage,
신나는
and
것
I think
같아요,
we had a really good one
너구리
today,
선수
so I feel really
게임
excited
때는
right
굉장히
now.
단호한 표정으로 경기를 하시는데 오늘은
Nuguri,
정말
you
기분이
actually look
좋으신가
really
봐요.
calm
오늘도
during playing games, but
좀 잘 풀린
you
것도
look
있고
really
막
excited
게임이
right
뭔가
now.
좀
I think the game
한타에
went
뭐
so
도망이라고
like
해야
well
되나,
as I planned. This is the
스트레스로
best
막
game a top laner can have, you know.
그런 게좀
I was just
재밌어가지고
controlling all over the
네,
map
오늘
with the
너구리
side
선수의
lane
샌드박스가
pushes, so
정말
I was
잘
just so
풀렸습니다.
happy.
사실 지난주에 샌드박스가 하나
Last
실점을
week,
잡아주면서
Sandbox
플레이오프에
took
진출을
down
했단
Hana Life
말이에요.
Esports
경기를 좀
and
보고
sent
계셨나요?
you guys to the
어땠나요?
playoffs.
그때
Were
제가
you watching
마침
the
또
series?
제가 한창 제가 좀 못한다고 생각해가지고
Well,
이제 우리 이제
I was
부장님이
having a
이제
bit of a
출전하실
slump.
때 저는 이제 폐관
You
수련을
know, I was a little bit depressed. I was just playing so many solo queues on my own.
이제 경기는
to
이제
get back in form.
감독님만 코치님 대신 봐주시고
And well, the head coach and
될 것
coaching
같아요.
staffs were watching game instead of me, and well, told me that we are in the playoffs and Sandbox won the game for us.
오늘 큐베 선수의 니코 상대로 라이즈를 들고
CuVee
나오셨어요.
played
그런데
Nico and you
많이
played
그냥
Rise
여지
up
플레이를
against
있었단
it.
말이에요.
네.
But you actually didn't go with the aftershock.
뭔가 라이즈 라이즈 요새 그냥 좀 다양한 룬을 들어보다가
Well, Rise can try a lot of runes.
괜찮은 것 같아서 유성을 그냥
And Comet is the best, one of the good ones for Rise.
각자 장단점이 있다 생각하고 그 약간
There are a lot of, I mean, like,
유틸성의
best, strength of each runes, you know. About the phase race, it's about the utility, but Comet, it's about the damage and the control in the side lanes.
장면에 룰러 선수로 막 원콤을 낼 정도로
You just
정말 잘 컸고
melted down Lucian over there.
그냥 완벽하게 가셨단 말이에요.
You were going full AP build today.
하셨나요?
아 오늘은 일단
Well, today,
기한을 했습니다.
in my first recall, I saw that CuVee was going for mythic resistance, so I just wanted to go for penetration build.
알겠습니다. 자, 오늘 1세트에서는 원래 너구리 선수가 상대 갱킹을 정말 많이
And Nuguri,
받아내는 걸로
usually
유명한데
there are a lot of junglers paying a lot of attention to your lanes, you know, trying a lot of gank attempts, but that's not what happened today. Well, I think I had a bit of a comfortable game today, and also Canyon was supporting me a lot.
탑 K는 약 5년
Game
만에
2.
등장을 했어요.
KO showed up in
K
LCK
각광을
in like
받기
5 years.
너구리 선수가 들고 나오지
And you
않을까
know,
뭐 그렇게
KO
예상은
seemed to
했지만
be
정말
back in the hype,
기대에
and we were expecting a lot from you, Nuguri.
계기가 궁금하네요.
So how were you able to lock in KO today? Well, in solo queue, it's really hot. You know, it's a. I mean, everyone wants to play KO. It has a really high win rate, and everyone wants to play it, and it's really exciting to play. And I thought that KO is a pretty good champion. It's really viable, so that's why I was able to lock it in. But I mean, solo queue and competitive games are different, you know. Well, in solo queues, KO evolves in every 6, 11, and 16 level. But in solo queue, actually, you know, the game doesn't last long enough for you to like evolve. But in team games, like competitive games, you can tell other teammates to wait till I can scale and evolve. So I think it's really good. But before even reaching the high levels, you were really playing aggressively and doing so well. I think KO, I mean, if your teammates play around top lane, you can play really aggressively and do a lot of things. And I think I was lucky. And you know, I got the elixir that lets you level up, you know, by the kleptomancy. So I think I was a bit lucky. What are your thoughts about KO versus Aatrox matchup? Well, Aatrox is the one who tries to destroy KO, and KO is the one who's trying to like bear all the times in the laning phase. Game 2, you were keep side pushing, and all the other teammates were at the Baron. Weren't you worried at that moment? When we grouped up in the mid lane, our results wasn't good. So we kind of made the transition to focusing on the side lane. Did you have a trust in your teammates? Well, I didn't think that they would win that team fight. I just wanted them to like stop GenG players trying Baron or stop their recall, but they just ended up winning the team fight. I was like feeling a bit sad because they were winning without me. But when I grouped up with them, they actually lost the team fight. But when I was in the side lane, they were winning team fights, so I was a little bit sad.
잘하지 않았나? 네, 생각을 해보겠습니다. 요즘 팀원들과 합도 정말 좋고요.
Synergy and teamwork between all the teammates are on point today. And there are a lot of fans out here supporting DAMWON gaming players. Any message for them? Well, it has been a while since I played as a starting member. I'm really happy that I got the solo MVP, and I think I was able to play a very good game today. So I'm really happy, and I'm really thankful for all my teammates supporting me and also the fans.
이제 플레이오프 준비하셔야 될 텐데요. 어떤 각오
So how are you going to prepare the last series? KT Roaster will be our last opponent, so we're not going to let our guards down. We're going to prepare as hard as we can to show great performance as hard as we can.
만날 수 있길 더 좋은 모습 보여주시길 기대하겠습니다. 인터뷰 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for this interview, and I'm
네,
going to
다음
pass it
게임에
back to our
너구리 선수와
casters.
함께했습니다.
Thank you.
중계상 연결할게요.
Thank you so much, Jason. I'm pretty sure that's the most excited I've ever seen a player in an MVP interview ever.
You know what I was struck by? Nuguri is such a good interview. And
Yeah.
he's so charismatic for a rookie player to not be bashful at all.
Just the most
He's
excited
just
about
lapping
talking
it
about
up, right?
Kale. Yeah.
And like, he's so close to being the complete package. He is a really good interview. He clearly has some charisma around him. The fans are rallying behind, just like the alpaca, the raccoon, which Nuguri's name is echoing there.
Yeah.
He's so good in lane as well. He's so close to just being like an ultra superstar. Like, clearly he's ultra talented. I just want to coach Nuguri. That's how I feel right now. It's like,
I don't know whether you would. Why would you want to do that to yourself?
Because what if you got it right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What if you were the guy that molded him?
But that's the challenge you want, where you're like,
we need to remember the Titans storyline around coaching Nuguri. That's all we need.
Everything else is like S+ tier, you know?
Yep. You just got to shine up that diamond, Papa Smithy. As these are the standings, nothing changed. After that particular one, it's going to be another loss for GenG, though. Let's see if FLICKR can do anything. They might be able to get themselves over the line. If FLICKR wins a game, I believe they're going to tie with GenG, and then the head-to-head will put GenG ahead.
So, what does it mean in terms of where we're going? It means that KT actually probably has to face this DAMWON Gaming roster that is out to impress, because if I'm DAMWON Gaming, I know exactly. If I'm KT, I'm like, oh, it's definitely going to be Flame and Punch to give them some more stage experience this week. If you can prepare against only that duo, maybe that's big, but if you get bluffed, maybe that actually, because you just can't prepare for both. Because if you do, your headaches are too big, and your KT who has your own issues to try to mop up.
Yeah. So KT just needs to win one of their next two series. And the first one is going to be tomorrow, Hanwha Life versus KT Rolster, and then Griffin versus Kingzone, which is a massive one. If Kingzone can actually win this, they might be able to challenge even higher in the standings and will separate between themselves and a Sandbox Gaming that's up against GenG, a much easier opposition.
And I'm very interested to see Griffin, because they went from 0-4 week, kind of embarrassing 1-4 week, sorry, to very good game against Hanwha Life, decent follow-up game, and now, where are they at? Because I feel like we got the bad side, pretty good side, and now maybe we'll get a true read, because if they can 2-0 Kingzone as they have many times in the past, maybe they're just in that open field waiting for that final.
Yeah, precisely. And I feel like we need them to have a good performance against Kingzone to really feel that they deserve that #1 place that they put themselves in after the first round robin, to be perfectly honest, after getting that perfect run.
They played 2 stage games and are done to the final. So they actually want as much on-stage practice now as they can get.
Yes. Well, we'll see whether they can actually do it, but that is going to be it for us tonight.
What a day.
It's been a day of LCK, Bubba Smithy, and we'll see you again tomorrow for another one. Good night.
You take me higher when I feel low, make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, all with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning. Together we'll be winning. We do understand. Make my sorrow silly. 'Cause with you I'm feeling fly like a feather, fly like the wind. I fly again to where we never been. You taught me loving without all the bling. You're all I need. I'm feeling feather.
아니 미드 1타 있는데 굳이